Hey everybody, welcome to No Bones About Wrestling. I'm your host Asa, and I'm here of course with Kay Fabulous.
Hey.
And this is your Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view recap show. And of course we go through with the pay-per-view results, and we go through with our predictions results to let you know which of us hoists the ever-popular pay-per-view prediction belt. Whoever gets the most of their predictions correct wins the belt.
Just to remind you, at least prior to this pay-per-view, I was the current reigning and defending predictions champ.
Correct, yeah. So, Death Before Dishonor, it was July 21st, and they were live from Trenton, New Jersey. Home of, well, not necessarily Trenton, but home of The Sopranos. One of my favorite shows. Just want to point that out. That's what I think of when I think of New Jersey. Opening match was Commander versus Gravity. So we just want to have to admit we missed the first couple minutes because the show, where we watched the pay-per-view, the show was on under the wrong name. So we had at first thought there was some mix-up and it wasn't on, but we had to search for the show, and so we missed the first couple minutes of the pay-per-view because we couldn't find the show. Like I said, it was on under the wrong name.
And the wrong time.
And the wrong time on our provider, yeah. But nonetheless, we found it, and Commander versus Gravity was the opener.
And of all the matches to miss part of,
yeah,
I mean,
really.
Come on.
So Gravity dives over the post onto Commander on the outside. We jump right in the middle of the match. Gravity comes jumping at Commander in the corner, is met by Commander's boots. A sit-out powerbomb by Gravity. Two men trade open-hand chops. Gravity with another sit-out powerbomb gets a 2 count out of that one. Commander jumps from the ropes in a floating, flipping splash to the outside. I don't even know what it was. That's the best description I can give you. Commander runs the ropes, hops to the perpendicular ropes, and then hits a moonsault on Gravity. Commander then hits a Frankensteiner, but Gravity rolls him up for the 3 count, and Gravity gets the win out of nowhere. So this match we did, it wasn't on our prediction show. They added some matches, but we did make predictions on those matches before the show started. So this match, we both predicted Commander to get the win. Gravity got the win, so we were both 0 for 1. This match, what I saw of it, I gave it 4.5 bones out of 5. Just terrific action.
And just to add, they announced after the match that Gravity is going to be facing Pac this week. Can't remember if it's on Collision or Dynamite. I'm guessing it's on Dynamite.
It's on Dynamite.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm upping it. I'm upping this match to 5 bones.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I am.
I disagree.
5 bones. This was the match of the night.
I also disagree with that.
Well, that's fine. But Commander versus Gravity, this was the match of the night. These two, the moves were close to flawless. Every bit of action was, I wonder, what the fuck are these two going to do next?
What I want to know is, where did Gravity come from?
That I'm not sure of. I haven't been keeping up with Lucha Libre too closely. Not as closely as I would like to. But I believe they called it a Lucha Libre Dream Match. So somewhere in Mexico, I believe, is where they're saying he's from.
They said he was someone's brother, but I missed who they said because it was like as we were tuning in. But this, I believe, was his Ring of Honor debut. That's what they made it sound like.
I'm not sure of.
Maybe it was just his pay-per-view debut.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I've heard the name before, but I don't know much about him.
I have not heard of him, but I really enjoyed him, and he
was great.
Like, almost, I don't think it was meant to be this, but it looked like a nod to Buzz Lightyear in his outfit. Did you notice that?
I think it was a definite.
Do you think it was?
Oh yeah,
A
yeah.
definite thing? Okay.
The same colors as Buzz Lightyear. He and not to say his outfit looked like Buzz Lightyear, but the colors
It was
are
like
the
a
same.
nod.
Like
He didn't have
silver,
the purple.
purple. No, there was some purple. Wasn't
It was blue instead.
silver, blue, red,
And he had like the green.
green.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, 5 bones out of 5. Just a terrific match. I hate that we missed a couple minutes of it, but I can tell you what we saw was 5 bones out of 5. It was just terrific action. I'm gonna try and find the rest of it. But I saw enough. I can definitely give it 5 bones out of 5. Just
We only missed a few minutes of like actual
yeah,
match.
we only missed a couple minutes, really. Yeah, like 2 or 3 minutes of the actual match. But like I said, we saw enough. I can give it 5 bones out of 5. It was terrific action, very entertaining, and near flawless, and just very innovative, and
such a surprise ending. Like, it happened so quickly, and
yeah.
Gravity won, which also was a surprise for us.
yeah.
So
Well, as we both picked the guy we knew, Commander.
Yeah.
We figured Gravity's kind of debut, or at least debut for us, if it wasn't his actual debut,
Yeah.
He was new to us. We didn't pick him to win, so we're both 0 for 1 after that match.
And I'm very excited to see him in this match versus Pac. Like, it'll be... Because, like, it's always cool to see a Lucha Libre wrestler wrestle another Lucha Libre wrestler, but I love to see it when styles mix, and so to see Gravity's style against Pac's style, I'm very, very interested in that, I think it'll be a good show.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely, I agree. And that is on Dynamite on Wednesday. I will be, I'm a fan. I'll be cheering for Gravity, I tell you that. I'm a fan now.
I will also be cheering for Gravity. Plus, his mask is so cool.
His mask
It's like solid fabric, so, I mean, I'm just assuming it's like the Halloween fabric, like where you can like see through it, Obviously, you can see what he's doing.
Yes.
But it just looks really cool.
It does, yeah. No, he's got a great look to him. Up next, we had the Ring of Honor World Television title match.
I was surprised this match was on so early in the card, weren't you?
I was too. I was surprised with the general order of the card. It's not the way I would have done it, but I'm not Tony Khan, so...
I'm not surprised with the first match being first.
No.
They tend to put what they think is going to be the showstopper either first or last.
Yeah. But, I mean, just like I said, just in general, I was surprised with the order of the card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely a surprising flow.
Mm-hmm. So we had Samoa Joe defending the World Television title. He's had it for over a year. Defended it against Dalton Castle, of course, accompanied by the boys and accompanied by the extra boys too.
The baby chicks.
The baby chicks. Dalton had a spectacular entrance, as always.
There were some new champ chants from the crowd when he came out.
There were some what?
New champ chants.
Oh, yeah.
Was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad the crowd was behind him.
They definitely were. And the crowd during the match was pretty split.
Pretty split.
Very early in the match, Dalton takes time to get fanned off by the boys. Back in the ring, an exchange between the two ends in a Castle DDT. Then Joe with a snapmare and a slap to Castle's back. Irish whip gets reversed. Joe charges in and then hits Castle with a fallaway kick. That signature kick that Joe does. Joe chops Castle down. Joe snap suplexes Castle. Joe then throws Dalton out twice. And the boys throw Dalton back in twice.
They catch him and prevent him from hitting the ground.
Yeah.
They cradle him like a little baby and then put him back in the ring.
Dalton with a head scissors on the outside.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
It was at this point the boys throw Joe back in the ring. And Dalton suplexes Joe. And then Dalton gets him with a German suplex. And at this point, Dalton Castle definitely has the momentum. It is looking like he is going to be the World Television Champion. And it is at this point that Samoa Joe crawls over to Stokely Hathaway, who is at the announcer's table. He's guest announcing this. And he's in an administrative role now in Ring of Honor, Stokely Hathaway.
Yeah, I think he's one of the bookers with Tony.
Yeah.
I think he and Tony are the people who run it.
And there are other administrative people.
But they're the two head honchos, I believe.
But he tells Stokely Hathaway, he says, "Fix this." And then Hathaway, very excitedly and nervously, runs over to the ref, and he makes the ref make the boys leave. Kicks the boys out of the match.
Shameful.
Shameful.
Shameful behavior. All the boys have done is just try and help everyone who gets thrown out of the ring get back into the ring. They're just trying to be good, helpful, almost Boy Scout-like.
Shh. It's not like what the Boy Scouts were like when I was in them. But yeah.
So we get the boys thrown out.
The boys are thrown out. And so they hadn't done much. The only interference was they put Joe back in the ring once. Which I guess is enough to get thrown out.
They caught Dalton twice and put him back in the ring. Like, helped him.
Yeah, but that's almost like...
But they prevented him from falling, you know? I mean,
that's true. I guess that's interference.
And they provided some very good fan work. You know, providing some additional AC to Dalton Castle, keeping his body cool.
I just see them as part of Dalton. I don't see it as interference, but I guess they were doing some interfering, yeah. So he makes the boys leave, and that sucks. So while the ref is tied up with the boys, making them leave, and Dalton, of course, is distracted by all this. I mean, they're his boys, you know. Mm-hmm. Joe comes over and he kicks Dalton in the nuts behind the ref's back. Kicks him right in the nuts, and he then puts Dalton in the coquina clutch, and nobody gets out of that.
No.
And Dalton is not the first to get out of it. Mm-hmm. And Joe wins by knockout. He's put Dalton to sleep. Samoa Joe retains his World Television title, and who will stop him? Who knows?
You know, really, he should have to share that title with Stokely Hathaway, because if it had not been for him, I don't think he would have retained.
It's true.
That is not where the match was headed. Poor Dalton was robbed. The boys were publicly shamed.
So we both are big Dalton Castle fans, yes. If you can't tell.
And I'm a big fan of the boys, Brandon and Brent Tate. It's just so we can get their names out there.
Yeah.
They
do have names.
They do have names. They're twins. They're awesome. Follow them on Twitter. They post fun things.
But Joe won, kept his belt, kept the TV title. Very good match. 4 bones out of 5 on this one. Very good match. At this point, I picked that Joe would win. I knew he wasn't going to lose. So I was 1 for 2 in my picks. Kay picked Dalton to win the TV title.
That is because I cannot pick against what my heart says. And my heart said Dalton Castle. So
she was 0 for 2 at this point.
Yeah, it's not
her picks.
Not a great start for me.
No, it wasn't. So that was a good one. This show, I'd tell you, this whole show was a good show.
It was a great show.
It was a great show. Yeah. Ring of Honor, they put on. It wasn't as good as their pay-per-view in March.
No, but nothing has been as good as their pay-per-view in March.
But it was very good. It was very good.
like, that's the best, you know, like I didn't even think that...
What was that one called?
Super Card of Honor.
Super Card of Honor.
Like, I don't even think Forbidden Door reached the caliber of Super Card of Honor. So, I didn't expect this to necessarily... I didn't expect lightning to strike twice, and this to be the new best pay-per-view of the year, especially with as last minute as so many decisions were made. But when you watch the pay-per-view...
I'm not sure if I would call Super Card of Honor the pay-per-view of the year. I would really have to look back at things. And
I stand by my statement, for me.
I would really have to look back at things. It was one of the best, for sure.
It was my favorite of WrestleMania weekend. And that's one of the best shows of the year.
It was the best of WrestleMania weekend, that's for sure, yeah.
But anyway, what I'm saying is, like, even with the last-minute decisions made for these matches, or at least last-minute announcements, who knows if they were last-minute actual decisions, this show didn't seem like it was thrown together, you know? Like, it seemed...
Right.
It seemed like a well-thought-out, well-planned show.
Yeah, but it did. But you gotta wonder, it seemed they had to be last-minute decisions, because why else would you make the announcements last minute?
But they made the announcements last minute, because if you think about it, they made some of these announcements on Ring of Honor, which is taped ahead of time. So, like, some of the things that got announced Thursday on Ring of Honor, they've known about for at least a week or two from whenever that episode was taped, and they didn't announce them. So
it was a week. It was taped a week ago. A week before.
It was at the Stampede place, where everyone was wearing cowboy hats.
Calgary, yeah.
Calgary, yeah.
All right, up next we have the Ring of Honor World Tag Team title. Now, they confused me here, because it's for the World Tag Team title. They called this a Four Corners Survival match. So there are 4 teams, so that's where you get the 4 corners, okay? Now, you call it a survival match. That makes it sound like an elimination match.
It does.
You survive it. It makes it sound like teams are going to get eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to survive it if you want to be the champions, right?
One would assume, but apparently that's not the case.
That's not the case. So just to let you know, it's the first fall, pin or submission. That's who wins the titles. And you can tag in whomever you'd like. You don't have to tag in your own tag team partner. You can tag in someone from a different tag team if you want to.
And who are you for in this match?
I was for the Lucha Brothers, definitely.
And you also picked the Lucha Brothers?
I also predicted the Lucha Brothers.
And I was for the Kingdom, but I predicted Aussie Open.
Right. All right, so this was the Lucha Brothers defending their belts, the belts they won at Super Card of Honor back in March, defending their belts against the Kingdom, Aussie Open, and Best Friends. Mike Bennett pokes Trent Beretta in the eyes. Kyle Fletcher of Aussie Open whips Ray Phoenix in. Phoenix whips himself around to save himself and gets body slammed for his trouble. The Lucha Brothers hit double super kicks on Aussie Open. Mark Davis with a stiff clothesline on Trent Beretta. The Lucha Brothers with simultaneous planches on everyone.
Simultaneous what?
Planches.
What's that?
When you dive out of the ring and do a somersault.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that had a name.
Mm-hmm. Trent superplexes Mike Bennett outside of the ring onto everyone. That's a pretty outrageous spot right there. Trent back in the ring. Trent with a shotgun drop kick on Matt Taven of the Kingdom. Penta with a crossbody on both Kingdom members. Pump handle driver then by Penta. Trent suplexes Matt Taven while sitting atop Chuck E. T's shoulders. His partner Chuck Taylor. Stump pile driver by Chuck Taylor. Mark Davis of Aussie Open with a pile driver. Penta pile drives Mark Davis while Ray Phoenix jumps on Davis. Pin broken up at 2. Best Friends with a double team pile driver while the Lucha Brothers pull the ref out of the ring at a 2 count. And this match, then, it descended into pure chaos. Everyone was hitting moves.
Yeah, I had no idea who was legal.
I could not keep up, so I just wrote chaos !
Yeah, good on the ref for being able to keep track of who the legal people were, because I couldn't have told you.
I couldn't keep up. Everyone was hitting moves. People just running in, willy-nilly.
And those that were tagging, the tags were happening so quickly. Yeah. Someone would get, like, thrown into a corner, and then someone would, like, do, like, a sneaky reach-down tag. And if you blinked, you'd miss it. Like, it was very, very confusing for a while, but in a fun way.
Yeah, it was awesome. But it went for maybe for a minute like that.
Mm-hmm.
Of just tagging in, people coming in and out, nailing moves, getting 2 counts. Like I said, hard to keep up. And then Aussie Open get in, and they hit the Coriolis effect on Trent, and they get the pin on Trent, the 1, 2, and 3.
I think they might just call it the Coriolis.
I call it
the Coriolis effect because that's what it's called in science.
I think it's just called the Coriolis.
It's just called the Coriolis, yeah.
But they get the 3 count, and Aussie Open are the new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions.
And I got one!
So, this match, excellent match.
Oh, excellent.
Just terrific.
Are you deciding a bone rating?
Yeah.
You didn't write one down?
No, I did. You're
just contemplating it?
I'm contemplating it.
Well, while you contemplate it, I'm going to talk if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, surprisingly, a lot of my notes are about Trent. He's kind of like a...
Yeah, Trent was excellent in this match.
He was excellent. Like, he's someone that I feel like you kind of forget about or like... I mean, kind of like you said in our preview show, he's definitely like the star of the Best Friends, but since his surgery, he's been doing less high-risk moves, understandably so. But I feel like he really stood out in a match full of standouts, you know? At one point, he stepped on Mike Bennett's face, like walking across him and stepping like right on his nose. Really brutal move. And that superplex again with Bennett off the top rope onto everyone on the outside was just amazing. Speaking of Bennett, after a crossbody by Penta, Bennett gets up and yells, "You son of a bitch!" It was just very funny. I loved this match. This match probably ties for match of the night for me with one we're going to talk about later.
So I'm going to give this one 5 bones out of 5.
Good. If you gave anything less, I would question your judgment.
Yeah. 5 bones out of 5. This was the second best match of the night for me. Just excellent on everyone's part. Everyone did great. Like you said, Trent was a standout for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so at this point, I missed it. I predicted the Lucha Brothers would retain, so at this point I was 1 for 3. Kay predicted Aussie Open would get their gold, and so this was her first correct pick of the night, so she was 1 for 3 now. So we're tied on our predictions.
Can I ask a question? Was this Mark Davis's first match back from his meniscus injury?
I don't know.
Okay. I couldn't tell. The way they were talking about it made it sound like it, but they didn't straight up say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see him on Thursday's Ring of Honor, but I'm a little bit behind now that we're back in the club.
Back in the Honor Club.
Back in the Honor Club. I need to catch up, so I'm not sure if he's been on since then. But it's the first time I've seen him wrestle since his meniscus injury, and he doesn't seem to have missed a step, so that was good to see.
Yeah, definitely. Up next, so yeah, congratulations go out to Aussie Open.
Yes.
Well deserved, but yeah, this was just an excellent 4-way tag team match. Just wild. wild match.
And I'm looking forward to them defending it frequently.
Yeah.
Because we did not get to see the Lucha Brothers have a lot of defenses of this.
Unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately.
So I'm hoping...
Well, the Lucha Brothers have a pretty full schedule.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
And so I'm hoping with Aussie Open as the new champs, hopefully they'll be around a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit more to defend them.
So the Righteous and Stu Grayson cut a promo in a stairwell. Just talking shit about the Dark Order, basically.
It was a really poorly lit stairwell. Like, if you know
Yes.
you're taping a promo, can't you grab a light in there or something?
Well, I think they wanted it to be that way.
Yeah, but it didn't look like ominous. It looked like we have bad lighting.
True. I still think they wanted it to be that way.
Why did you?
It's not like they don't have lights. They have lights.
Poor choice.
Yeah. It didn't look great. I agree. But yeah, just talking shit about the Dark Order, and putting them down, basically.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to say that Stu's face paint that he has, the 2 lines that he normally does, now that he's with the Righteous, they're white lines instead of black lines, and I feel like that's like a nice little subtle nod to being a part of the Righteous.
Mm-hmm.
Although they list him separately, they say the Righteous and Stu Grayson, so I guess maybe he's not... Maybe that's the name of, like, the tag team instead of the name of the cult, or... It's a little confusing to me.
Yeah, it is a little confusing, I agree. So I'm not sure, right. Up next, the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championship. We have Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony, Toa and Khan, of course accompanied by Prince Nana. They were defending their titles against Master Wato, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Leon Ruffin.
And this was one of those last-minute announced matches. And so who did you have going into this?
Well, yeah, we both predicted that Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony would retain their belts.
They're going by the Mogul Embassy. At least on the posters. They're going by
They went by the Mogul Embassy?
Yeah.
Well, just to avoid confusion, because Swerve Strickland is also part of the Mogul Embassy, I called them Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. Mm-hmm. Swerve Strickland was not in attendance. Leon Ruffin drop kicks Cage down. Brian Cage picks up Leon Ruffin, who is rather skinny, and does curls with him. And I struggle to pick up a rather light weight, and that's what I was noting to Kay, and Brian Cage was doing curls with this man. So that made me feel great about myself.
25 pounds isn't light.
Big Bill is shown backstage watching on a monitor. Big Bill, of course, was Brian Cage's tag team partner in the recent blind eliminator tag team tournament.
Can I interrupt you real quick to discuss this briefly?
Okay.
So, why do you think Big Bill is watching? Do you think he wants to join the Mogul Embassy? Or do you think he wants to fight Brian Cage? Or he wants to continue to tag with him? What do you think the motivation, like, what are we supposed to think, and what do you actually think?
Yeah, I think he wanted... Yeah, it's tough to know what we were supposed to think.
Yeah.
They weren't clear.
Yeah, because he wasn't making any kind of faces, you know, like right. He was just watching.
What I took from it, what I thought, is that Big Bill still wants to tag with Brian Cage.
That's what I think also.
So the Mogul Embassy is kind of an impediment to Big Bill being able to tag with Brian Cage.
Or he could join.
Oh my
gosh, can you imagine if he joins, there'll be just like nothing but monsters plus Swerve.
Yeah.
That would be... He would have like a literal like wall of flesh around him, you know? I would love for him to join. It would be nice for him to have something now that he and Stokely Hathaway's group is disbanded, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, it's not clear what we were supposed to take from Big Bill watching. Yeah, it could have been any of those things that you named.
So it's something to keep your eye on in the future, for sure. Because something's up.
Ruffin with an impressive springboard DDT on Khan. But pretty much the Cage and the Gates of Agony were just destroying Leon Ruffin, except these moves that I'm listing out to you. They're pretty much just taking whatever he threw at them and then destroying him. Master Watto gets the tag in after they've beaten Ruffin up quite a bit. Seemed like they could have ended it whenever they liked, but they let Ruffin go on. It seemed like they wanted a match. They wanted some practice. And then it seemed like they got a little more than they wanted. Master Watto comes in. He bulldogs Khan. Watto with a leg lariat on Brian Cage. And Watto came in. He looked great. Taguchi came in, and he put an ankle lock on Khan. And Toa saved him. Brian Cage hit a 619 on Master Watto.
Very impressive.
Yeah, it's amazing. Brian Cage is amazing.
He is amazing. And like, I've seen a lot of Brian Cage matches. I've never seen that. I feel like every time you see a Brian Cage match, he does something that surprises you, you know?
Yeah.
I love it.
No,
I love it when wrestlers continue to work on their craft and vary their offense. You know, it's a great thing to see.
Yeah, we see a lot of wrestling, so we know when somebody adds a move.
Yes.
Leon Ruffin with a diamond cutter on Cage. And it's for a minute, it's looking like Watto, Taguchi, and Ruffin may win the belts. They're getting the momentum. They're getting some moves on these big guys. It's going their way. But the champs, all three, corner Ruffin, they pick him up high in the air. They pick him up about 8 feet in the air and slam him down to the mat. And Toa pins Ruffin for the 1, 2, and the 3.
It's worth noting, he pins him by sitting on him.
Yes, yeah. Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony retain their World 6-Man Tag Team titles. I gave this match 3 bones out of 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I would give it a 3.5 just on surprise factor alone. Like
I'd give it 3.5.
Okay.
I'll give it 3.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little low, honestly. Yeah.
I expected this to be a squash match. I am thrilled to death that it wasn't. And not only was it not a squash match, but it went on like probably 5 times longer than I expected it to. Once I realized it wasn't going to be a squash. You know, it wasn't a long match comparatively, but for what it was a long match, don't you think? Like, it went on much longer.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Oh, I think it went on much longer than I expected it to. Like, it went on long enough where twice in my notes I wrote, this match is getting way more time than I expected. Yeah, just really, it was great. It was full of surprises, which I loved.
I don't know if I would call it great.
No, I mean, it was great that it was full of surprises.
Oh, that
I'm not
great.
I'm not saying them. Well, no, I might say this match was great. I really enjoyed the team that has no name. You know, with the other 3 guys.
Yeah.
It seemed at first like it was just like a bunch of randos thrown together, which maybe that's what it is. But they worked really well together. It was my first time seeing Master Watto or Taguchi, and I enjoyed both of them a lot.
Yeah, I'd heard of Master Watto. I don't think I'd ever seen him, and he was impressive. Yeah, he was impressive against these big monsters, and I know that's not his usual opponent.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
So this brings up the question that always comes up when we see the Mogul Embassy or the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage together, at least in the 6-man battle. Who is going to be able to dethrone this crew? What do you think?
Well, before I answer that, let me cover one thing.
Okay.
So, right, 3.5 bones out of 5. Both of us picked Cage and the Gates of Agony to retain. So, at this point, both of us on our predictions are 2 for 4. 2 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
So who can beat them? Fuck if I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Excuse me. It's really going to have to be a team who's at the top of their game. Just, firing on all cylinders, to use a cliche.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it's going to have to be. I mean, to make it believable in any way, they're really going to have to be at the top of their game. And I can't name many 6-man tag opponents who would be believable to beat them.
Do you have someone that you would like to see beat them?
Yes, but that's a 6-man tag that has only teamed up once.
Is this the Lucha Brothers and El Hijo del Vikingo?
It is the Lucha Brothers and El Hijo del Vikingo, yes.
I would like to see the Righteous and Stu Grayson get it. I feel like Dutch is big enough where he adds a believability factor. Plus with Stu Grayson's high-flying, quick moves and Vincent's conniving, I feel like they might be able to pull off a somewhat believable overthrow. But
that's heel versus heel.
It is heel versus heel.
I don't know about that.
Well, can you name 6-man face groups besides Dalton Castle and the Boys?
Not really.
Yeah, so we got AR Fox, Metalik, and Blake Christian, but they've already had their go at them.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of 6-man faces, which is why I think we saw this sort of random gathering here.
True.
Is that a big no-no, heel versus heel?
No, not a big no-no, but just it's, who do the fans cheer for? What do the fans do during that match? A lot of times they end up sitting on their hands, because what are they supposed to do?
But I think people like the Righteous, even though they're heels.
Are you accidentally turning someone face then?
Yeah.
What I mean? Are you? Yeah. You might end up ruining somebody's act.
Yeah, no, that's a good call.
So, heel versus heel, I wouldn't say nowadays it's a big no-no, but in the past, yes, it's a big no-no. Heel versus heel. Bigger no-no than a face versus face, because at least then you got somebody to cheer for.
Yeah, that's true.
You can let the fans pick who to cheer for. And that used to be a big no-no, too. But not as big a no-no as heel versus heel, because like I said, at least in a face versus face, you got people to cheer for. And heel versus heel, well, you just got silence,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know who's gonna beat them. There aren't a lot of. I'm trying to think what 6-man tag groups are there in Ring of Honor. You got the Dark Order. You got.
Which they're kind of faces in Ring of Honor, but they're turning heel in AEW. So
yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that.
It's a question.
You got the Dark Order. You got. I don't know if Wato, Taguchi, and Ruffin are going to stick together. You got Cage and the Gates of Agony. You got Righteous and Stu Grayson. What other 6-man teams do we have?
I feel like we've seen... Oh, so we have the varsity athletes.
Yeah.
Woods, your boy, Tony Nese. And then, I forgot that other guy's name. They have a third man. Ari Daivari. And so, it wasn't Ari Daivari I was trying to think of. It was JJ something, whose name I can't think of. But he was part of the Trust Busters, not part of the varsity athletes. Yeah, they don't have a ton that I know of. Sometimes the infantry team up with someone. I've seen them in 6-man before.
Do they team up with AR Fox, or am I just misremembering that?
I think you're misremembering that.
Okay.
I want to say he teamed up with Shane Taylor, but I could be wrong.
I think that may be right, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, and I think that might be why we don't see the 6-man defended a lot in Ring of Honor. Because their teams aren't there, But they could be. So hopefully this will be a resurgence of defenses from both the tag belts and the trios belts, you know. And like I said, we haven't been watching Ring of Honor recently, so I could be wrong about this.
Yeah.
But I tried to watch most of Thursday's episode before the pay-per-view on Friday, so I would kind of have a better idea of what was going on.
And did you?
Yeah, I watched most of it. I didn't watch all of it.
Cool. All right, up next, we had our Ring of Honor Pure Championship match.
And
we had the champion, Katsuyori Shibata, defending against the man from whom he won the title, Daniel Garcia.
No, he won from Yuta.
Did he?
Yuta won from Garcia.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Yuta.
Excuse me. Thank you. So in a pure championship match, or in a pure rules match, you get 3 rope breaks. After the 3rd rope break, there are no more rope breaks for pin or submission. Closed fist is illegal. Usually you get 1 warning, and then the second time it'll mean disqualification. There is a time limit. For this match, there was a 60-minute time limit. Usually it's less than that.
Mm-hmm. Usually it's 15.
Yeah, but there's a 60-minute time limit. If it reaches the time limit, they go to the panel of 3 judges who are ringside watching the match, and their ruling is final. If you win by disqualification or countout, the belt can change hands on disqualification or countout, unlike every other title. Did I cover all the rules?
I believe so.
And the countout is 20, not 10.
Which is normal for Ring of Honor.
Is Ring of Honor 20, not 10?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
But that is different than, like, regular.
All right. So Shibata locks in a figure 4 leg lock. And outside the ring, Shibata repeatedly rams Garcia into the barriers. Garcia starts his disgusting dancing. And Shibata almost, like, are you done? Sits down in the ring cross-legged. Crisscross applesauce style.
That's one of Shibata's, like, moves, so, he does that frequently.
Yeah. Garcia joins him, sits down cross-legged. Shibata slaps Garcia. And then they end up getting to their feet. Shibata drop kicks Garcia in the corner. Sleeper hold by Shibata. Garcia gets out of it and puts on a Boston Crab. We have a string of reversals, some nice chain wrestling by the 2 men. Both men end up on their knees, exchanging forearm strikes with one another. We have a German suplex by Shibata. Both men clothesline each other, fall down, pretty worn at this point in the match. Garcia puts on the Dragon Tamer. Shibata then with a sleeper hold, and he's put Garcia out on his knees pretty much. He put on the sleeper hold, then hits a PK for the 1, 2, 3. Shibata retains his championship. Very good match. 4 bones out of 5. Another very good match on this show. I picked Garcia to win the belt back, so I was 2 for 5 at this point. Kay picked Shibata to retain, so she was 3 for 5 at this point in her picks. Very good match. Very good match. So at this point, we've had 2 5-bone matches, 2 4-bone matches, and a 3.5-bone match. So it's a damn good show. Ring of Honor, I tell you folks, if you love wrestling, and I know there's a lot of wrestling out there. We got AEW has 3 shows. WWE has, 2 shows?
3 if you count NXT.
3 if you count NXT. I know there's a lot of wrestling out there. But if you love wrestling, you should consider getting Ring of Honor Club. It's $10 a month, and that's for like $10. And that's for like 10 matches a show, 4 or 5 shows a month. So that's 40 to 50 matches. And we're talking about matches that end generally no interference. There's not a lot of bullshit and tomfoolery. They don't shoot a lot of angles. You're paying to watch wrestling matches.
Yeah, and not only is your money covering that, but you also have access to, it's not the full Ring of Honor catalog, but you get years and years worth of pay-per-views, you get old episodes. There's a ton of content on the app that you get access to as part of Honor Club. So if you want to go back in the feud that we saw during the Owen Hart Cup tournament between Samoa Joe and CM Punk, if you want to go back and watch the history of that, you can.
This is not a paid advertisement.
Yeah, I was going to say, we are not paid at all by Ring of Honor. We just love good wrestling, and this is some really good wrestling.
Yeah. Up next, we get an Aussie Open promo, and they're basically bragging on themselves as the new World Tag Team Champions of Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and at the end they say crowns up and they do their hand symbol, and I had no idea that was supposed to be a crown.
Yeah.
But now it totally looks like a crown.
Why did you think they always said that before they do it?
I never noticed them saying that before they did it.
Yeah.
I just thought, you know how people do weird hand symbols for things, what's his name? AJ Styles does his little diamond thing, so his gloves read P1 or whatever. You know what I mean? I just thought it was just a random hand symbol that they came up with, but it's a crown.
Up next, we get our Fight Without Honor.
Yeah.
Which is a 6-man tag team match between one side, The Righteous, and Stu Grayson. And The Righteous is the tag team of Vincent and Dutch. They're a crazy cult.
Awesome crazy cult. He left out the word awesome.
And the other side is the Dark Order, what's left of it. Evil Uno, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds.
One member of the Dark Order is missing, and that's -1.
Correct, right. He, of course, is too young to fight.
Correct.
So this is not a tag team match. It's a, tornado tag match, as you'd call it. No tagging. Everyone is legal at once. Just a 3-on-3 fight. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson start fighting in the ring. Grayson speared Uno through a table. John Silver has a 2x4. Dutch comes and betters him one with a barbed wire 2x4. Silver ends up fighting Dutch and getting the barbed wire 2x4 from him and hits him with it, and hits him in the head with it, and then gets Dutch down and rubs the barbed wire 2x4 across Dutch's forehead, opening him up. Vincent opens up Alex Reynolds with the 2x4 as well. So, not very sanitary, opening up 2 men with the same 2x4, that's not good, but that's what they do. John Silver then has a bag and drops thumbtacks all over the mat. Dutch hits a boss man slam on Silver on the tacks. Vincent throws Uno into a chair in the corner. Vincent busts Uno open after tearing his mask. He almost tears his mask off of him. I mean, he's torn his mask all to hell. Basically torn it off of his face. It is at this point that Dutch puts his fingers in Uno's blood and tastes it. Nice combination of moves by Silver and Reynolds here. They go through their standard double team combo of moves. They're a good team together, Silver and Reynolds. Dutch power bombs Uno on thumbtacks. Oh, I'm sorry. It's at this point, Evil Uno has a bag, and he drops Legos all over the mat. Which, if anyone has ever stepped on a Lego, that's painful because it's there's sides everywhere and they're different shapes, and you never know how it's going to hurt until you step on one. So Dutch power bombs Uno on thumbtacks and Legos. Grayson splashes Silver through a table. This match is wild. Alex Reynolds pushes Dutch off the stage onto a barbed wire table. Through a barbed wire. I don't know why I wrote onto. He pushes him off the stage through a barbed wire table. Grayson climbed a ladder.
It was a giant ladder.
He was going to do a move, but Uno tipped it over, and the ladder falls, and Grayson, of course, goes with it, and he falls through a table. Two tables set up at ringside. They get Grayson back in the ring, do the Dark Order. They slam him in the pile of thumbtacks and Legos. Evil Uno gets the pin. 1, 2, and 3. The Dark Order get the win. This was a wild brawl, as you can hear. We had blood tasting, we had blood letting, we had barbed wire tables, barbed wire 2x4s, men going through tables, men getting power bombed on Legos, a cult, well, 2 cults, had it all.
One thing that you missed when they first tore Evil Uno's mask and he started bleeding, Vincent dipped his fingers in Uno's blood and started drawing like a symbol on his own forehead with Uno's blood.
Oh, I did miss
so
that.
it wasn't just tasting and bloodletting; it was also blood drawing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 4 bones out of 5. This one, I picked the Dark Order to win, so I was 3 for 6 at this point in my picks. Kay picked the Righteous and Stu Grayson to win. So.
Although I was for the Dark Order.
Okay, but she picked the Righteous and Stu Grayson to win. So she was also 3 for 6 now in her picks. So we were tied at this point, 3 for 6. Mm-hmm. Not great. Kay, did you have any other notes on this match?
I cannot believe you only gave it 4 bones. This is my match that ties the tag match, the 4-way for match of the night.
It was wild. It was a bunch of fun.
Wild. You take my 2 favorite things in the world, which is wrestling and Lego, and you put them together.
Oh, I thought you were going to say wrestling and cults.
No, I do enjoy some good cults, but they're not my favorite thing in the world. Lego is, which could be considered a cult of its own, I suppose, Lego fandom. But, yeah, this match was wild. It had, like, everything. I'm not even, like, big on, like, bleeding matches, but, like, the match was so good it didn't even bother me that there was so much blood, you know? There was just, like, constant... I think because they weren't tagging, you know? It was just, like, constant action everywhere. Like, there wasn't... Like we see with WWE especially, there wasn't, like, 3 men laying outside pretending they were dead, you know, while the other people did stuff.
Right.
It was like everyone was doing something the whole time. Mm-hmm. And that something was awesome, you know?
It was a fun match. That's why I got 4 bones. 4 bones is a very good rating.
I know 4 bones is very good. I would expect 4.5, but whatever.
If I can do most of the stuff in the match, it doesn't get a 4.5 bones. That's just, weapons and all that are cool, but that doesn't get you 4.5 bones. Wrestling gets you 4.5 bones.
I would have given it 4.5. That's okay.
So, like I said, most of and nothing out there, I wouldn't do it. Don't get me wrong. These guys are tougher than me, but I could do it. I could do the thumbtacks. I could do the barbed wire 2x4. These are things I could do if I wanted to. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't get you to 4.5 if I could go out there and do it. It doesn't get you to 4.5 because it's skill. Anyone could do it is my point. Not just me. Anyone could do it. That doesn't get you to 4.5. If it's something anybody can do. Barbed wire tables and this and that, you know.
I mean, there were moves putting them through those tables.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. But this is my rating system.
I understand.
So, in my rating system, wrestling is what gets you to 4.5.
Yeah.
And that's not to say weapons don't get you points off. They just don't get you up to 4.5.
Even when one of those weapons is a bag full of Lego.
Correct. No, wrestling has to get you there. There has to be wrestling to get you there.
Well, we'll just agree to disagree.
Yeah. I mean, I love violence, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love some, I don't love violence, that's not right. I love scripted violence, yeah.
Simulated violence?
Simulated violence, thank you.
Well, I guess it's not simulated.
This is real violence.
Yeah, so I guess it's scripted, yeah.
I love scripted violence. Or in a horror movie, simulated violence. I love that. I abhor real violence.
That's why we don't watch MMA.
Yeah, no, MMA, I can't stand. It's too violent for me.
Yeah.
It really is. I don't like the thought of people actually trying to bash each other's brains in. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I have no interest in that. The most violent thing I can watch is football, honestly.
So one thing that they did take a page from WWE in with this card is the double main event.
Yeah.
We have a double main event tonight. So what's our first main event, Asa?
Well, our first of two main events, which is such bullshit.
Yes.
Just have some balls and say one match is the main event. The last match, we all know the last match is the main event.
Yes.
There's one main event.
Yes.
Have some balls. There's one main event. But the first, quote-unquote, main event is the Ring of Honor World Championship match. Claudio Castagnoli defending his belt against Pac. Good match here. Very good match. Pac denies getting put in the big swing very early on. These two men, they fought all the way up to the stage area. Back body drop by Pac. Excuse me, I skipped. He fought against getting put in the big swing, but does get put in the big swing. And Claudio lets him out, and the crowd starts chanting one more time. And Claudio shrugs his shoulders, says, "I'm a man of the people," and, swings him around again. So that was pretty funny. And back in the ring now, Pac hits a back body drop, hits a moonsault on Claudio. Claudio back up with a European uppercut on Pac. Pac with some thrust kicks on Claudio. And Gravity is shown watching the match on a backstage monitor, scouting Pac for his match Wednesday on Dynamite.
Which, if Pac wins this, will be a title match.
Right. Pac with a super brainbuster on Claudio. Pretty crazy move. Claudio gets up from it. He then picks up Pac, military presses him over his head, and then slams Pac out of the ring and through a table. Claudio then hits a pretty shitty elbow drop, honestly, where his feet come down way early. Pac back up with an enziguri, pump kick, then a German suplex by Pac, waist lock, and then another German suplex by Pac. Pac goes for a Frankensteiner. Claudio catches him. But Pac tries again and gets the Frankensteiner. Pac goes for the Black Arrow. Misses because Claudio moves. Claudio goes for the Ricola Bomb. But Pac catches him in the Brutalizer. Claudio gets out of it, Claudio climbs up the ropes with Pac on him and jumps off, dropping Pac. It's at this point Wheeler Yuta comes out. He distracts Pac. Claudio again grabs Pac in the Ricola Bomb, nails it, and pins him for the win. Claudio Castagnoli retains the Ring of Honor World Championship. This match, another very good one, 4 bones out of 5 match.
We both.
You know what? I'm gonna give this one 4.5 bones out of 5. Actually, 4.5 bones out of 5. After the match, the Lucha Brothers come out and beat up the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio and Wheeler.
Making it look like Death Triangle might be reforming.
Right.
Which was a big question we had going into this.
Mm-hmm. And then the Best Friends and International Champion Orange Cassidy come out. AEW International Champion, that is. Orange Cassidy come out. Orange Cassidy hits an orange punch, knocking Claudio out of the ring. So this match, we both picked Claudio to retain the World Championship, and he did. So at this point, we were both 4 for 7 in our picks, heading into the second of the double main event. Okay, anything you want to add about the World Championship match?
Claudio at the very first move, pretty much of the match, Claudio tosses Pac into the air, and then on Pac's way down, he just uppercuts the hell out of him, and it was
European uppercut.
European uppercuts the hell out of him, and his European uppercuts are just the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite move that he does. I think he has the best looking European uppercuts, or uppercuts in general, in the game, as one would say. And then, at one point, Pac, one of the German suplexes that Pac did on Claudio was a deadlift German suplex. And he did it for a 2 count, but it was just so impressive to see Pac deadlift Claudio. You know? I mean, that's a big dude. So those are the only things that I had really that you just hadn't mentioned. Really impressive. And then that spot you did mention, but Claudio climbing the ropes with Pac with the brutalizer on him, still able to climb the ropes and then jump off. The feats of strength we saw in this were very impressive from both men.
Great match. Great match. So so at this point in the show, just to show you how good Ring of Honor is, I mean, really, we've seen, 2 5-bone matches. We've seen a 4.5 bone match. Three 4-bone matches, and then 1 3.5 bone match. So pretty goddamn good. Pretty great show, honestly. This is the best show I've seen since I couldn't say when. Well, since Forbidden Door, for sure. That's for sure. Alright. Final match of the night, and the second of the 2 double main event matches. The Ring of Honor Women's World Title match. Champion Athena defending against Willow Nightingale.
Before you get started, I want to point out that this is the first time women have ever main evented on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. So, really great vote of confidence for both of these women and their capabilities. And welcome to the, I'm going to say 20th century Ring of Honor.
Well, wrestling's always a little behind things, so. What was that? I had something I was going to say. Well, anyways. Athena and Willow Nightingale have had a feud lately here, and They were in the finals of the Owen Hart Foundation women's tournament over in AEW, and Willow Nightingale defeated Athena to win that tournament. Mm-hmm. So we have a rematch here.
This is actually the rubber match.
Right. Yeah. So the first match, there was a proving ground match between Athena and Willow Nightingale for Willow Nightingale to earn this world title match, and Willow Nightingale won it. No,
Willow Nightingale lost it.
Lost the proving ground match?
She lost the
I'm sorry. She lost the proving ground match.
She lost the proving ground match.
That's right.
She won the Owen Hart match.
That's right. She lost the proving ground match. Yeah. Okay, I remember. She lost the proving ground match. Mm-hmm. She won the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Championship, and then she pissed Athena off so much that Athena gave her a world title match anyway.
Yeah.
That's what happened,
Athena, to this point, is undefeated in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened, yeah. She pissed Athena off so much, and Athena said, well, if you think you can beat me for this championship, go ahead and fucking try, because you can't.
Not in so many words.
So many words, yeah. Athena bails out of the ring. Well, I just want to note also, Athena came out with these awesome-looking wings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, really cool.
They were beautiful.
Beautiful wings, yeah.
And her gear was awesome. Like, the same guy that does MJF's gear did Athena's gear, because I follow him on Instagram. He's awesome. He also does, like, CM Punk's and FTR's. Like, any awesome gear on AEW or Ring of Honor, he's probably behind it. I'll find his name in a minute and let you know. But he posted a picture of, like, a close-up photo of her actual gear. Super cool looking. But the wings were beautiful. They looked like they were made out of actual feathers. Mm-hmm. And I guess based on what I saw on Twitter, this is something that she had worn at one point before, but I haven't seen it before, so it's been a while.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
Athena, of course, calls herself what? The Fallen Goddess,
yeah,
right?
The Fallen Goddess.
So these wings going along with that. She does not wear the wings during the match, of course. Athena bails out of the ring right away. She comes back in. The two women trade forearm shots. On the apron, Athena pushes Willow into the turnbuckle post, and Willow falls to the ground. Back in the ring, Athena with a snapmare, a kick to the spine, Willow with a jawbreaker, and then she misses a back senton. I want to note all of this while Willow's parents and family watch on. Willow from, where is she from?
She's from Long Island.
From Long Island. And we're very close by in Trenton, New Jersey. So Willow's family was in the front row. Athena chokes Willow with her boot in the corner. Athena picks Willow up and drops her onto her knees. Willow dives off the apron with a splash. Willow picks up Athena and powerbombs her onto the apron. Painful looking spot. That always is. Athena backflips onto Willow. Willow picks her up and DDTs her. Athena hits a Franken-Screamer. Willow hits a Royal Butterfly. Very nice looking move. Athena with a Snapmare Driver. Two ladies just going back and forth with one another, nailing moves. Willow catches Athena for a swinging neckbreaker. Athena hits Obliteration. Athena then hits a sit-down powerbomb for a 2 count. Willow hits a Spicoli driver off the top rope for a 2 count. Athena picks up Willow outside and dumps her off of her. Back in the ring, Athena hits the O-face and gets a 2 count only. That's her finisher. Mm-hmm. Willow with a gut-wrench powerbomb for a 2 count. Athena again hits the O-face and puts Willow in a crossface hold.
I think it's worth noting, sorry to interrupt you, but the powerbomb is called the Babe with the powerbomb. It's Willow's finisher. So Willow also hit her finisher for a 2 count.
Okay. She's called the Babe with the power. So that's a Labyrinth reference.
Yes, yeah.
I see. That's funny. The Babe with the power. What power? The power of voodoo. Who do you do? What remind me of the Babe? I saw my babe.
Okay, moving
on. All I can think of is that song now.
Sorry, you were talking about the O-face into a crossface.
Athena hits the O-face, puts Willow in a crossface submission hold. Willow is fighting everywhere around the ring, fighting her way, trying to get to the ropes, fighting as hard as she can to get out of it, but she cannot get out of it, and she's fighting to not submit. And she's not giving up, and she's not giving up, and she's not giving up. And finally, she pass out in it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
She finally passes out in it. And this is the second victory by knockout we've seen tonight. Of course, Samoa Joe beat Dalton Castle earlier. Athena wins by knockout and keeps her World Women's Championship. Very good match. 4 bones out of 5. Willow, as I said, passed out. Both of us picked Athena to retain her Women's World Championship. So both of us finished the pay-per-view, Both of us finished the pay-per-view 5 for 8 in our picks.
And due to Champion's Advantage.
And that due to Champion's Advantage, that means
I retain.
Kay retains the prediction championship belt.
Yeah.
We could post some pictures later today of her with her championship belt. Yeah, she retains the championship, the prediction championship gold.
And I will say that, too, that after a hard-fought match, Athena does raise Willow's hand in a kind of out-of-character move, but I think it really speaks to the nature of this match and how hard-fought it was.
Yeah.
Some things that I want to just mention real quick about... What did you give this match, by the way?
4 bones out of 5.
Nice. Well, first of all, shout out to Chris Estelle, who is the traveling wardrobe artist for All Elite Wrestling, who I believe is responsible for Athena's outfit. Check him out on Instagram and Twitter if you don't already follow him. He posts some cool pictures of their gear.
So let me point out something before you... I just want to note real quick, the show had 2 5-bone matches. That, of course, being the Gravity win over Commander and the 4-way tag match. It had 2 5-bone matches. It had 1 4.5-bone match. It had 4 4-bone matches. And then 1 3.5-bone match. Pretty good. That is much better than most pay-per-views.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting, too, we didn't cover them, but there were 4 matches on the 0 hour leading up to the pay-per-view. So even if you're not ready to commit to paying for a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, check out the free 0 hour. They had 4 matches on it, which was a crazy number for a 0 hour. And they were good matches.
Yeah, if you don't want to pay for the Honor Club or pay for the pay-per-view, the only way you'll ever see Ring of Honor right now, as it stands, is by watching the 0 hour before a pay-per-view. So watch when those come on. As Kay said, if you're not ready to drop the money, at least watch the 0 hour and give Ring of Honor a chance, because it's worth it. I can tell you that.
I agree. And I'm super cheap, so if I say it's worth it, it must really be worth it. So the only thing that I really wanted to note about the women's match that you hadn't mentioned is we were seeing all of these, like, high spot moves back and forth between Athena and Willow. And they all had really unique names, and I thought it was kind of odd until the commentators pointed out that both women were using a series of finishing moves from like the women that came before them in Ring of Honor.
Right.
And so I thought that was just a kind of cool homage to them. And worth noting that, and that both women kicked out of the other's finishers prior to the end of the match. I think that this match really illustrates why it's important to feature women. I don't know how to say this without sounding...
Go ahead, say what you want to say.
Featuring women in bouts with women of similar size. Because I've seen a ton of Athena matches. I've seen a ton of Willow matches. Mm-hmm. This is one of the best matches I've seen. This is the best match I've seen either of these women have. And I think it's because they're facing similarly sized opponents. Mm-hmm. So we were able to see them do moves and have moves done on them that were they facing smaller wrestlers, maybe they wouldn't have been able to accomplish.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not to say that women should only fight women of similar size, because, I mean, we see it in men's wrestling, too, and I think you can say the same thing. When smaller men face larger men, there's a limited moveset that they can do on them because of their size difference. And so that's not to say that they should only wrestle larger women. I just wanted to point out that because they're similarly sized, not only do they seem evenly matched in strength, but the moves that we saw from them are some moves that I had never seen either of these women do before.
Yeah.
Which since I've seen them both wrestle so much, was kind of unexpected, you know? Mm-hmm. So it was great to see. It was great to see both of them have highlights that we haven't seen before, you know?
Yeah.
Really great match. I'm glad Athena won. I was rooting for Willow, just because she's like joy personified. It's hard to root against her. Especially, like, I know as soon as we saw that her family was there, you were like, oh, we're going to lose this one.
Yeah, as soon as I saw her family was in the front row, I said, oh, man, I'm missing this prediction.
Yeah, but then I pointed out that she's from Long Island, so her parents were nearby, so they didn't have to travel far for it. So overall, banger of a pay-per-view, eh?
Yeah, fantastic show. Not as good as the one in March.
Mm-hmm.
Who did El Hijo del Vikingo fight at the one in March? Was it Commander?
It was Commander, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the opener, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the opener.
That was a hell of a match. But yeah, this was a fantastic show. I know we keep talking about how good Ring of Honor is, but it really is. And if you have $10 a month and you have some time to watch some more wrestling, spend the $10, spend the time. I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's a 2-hour show every week, and it's so if you take it down, divide it down, it's $2.50 a week for 2 hours of wrestling, and it's good wrestling, y'all, for real.
Plus, it's like you don't have to sign up for like 6 months at a time. So
yeah, you can
give it
just
a try.
Do it month by month.
At most, you lose $10, but at the best, you discover like some of the greatest wrestling.
Yeah. Again, we are not paid by Ring of Honor in any way.
If you're with Ring of Honor, feel free to pay us. But
but we are not paid.
Yeah. No, it's just really good wrestling that we want to share with others.
Yeah.
The more people that support it, the less likely that it will ever go away. So yeah.
Exciting pay-per-view. Match of the night for me was Gravity's win over Commander. Definitely. 5-bone out of 5 match. Terrific match. The other 5-bone out of 5 match was Aussie Open winning the tag team titles. I believe that was the only title change of the night. So congratulations to Aussie Open. Congrats to all the winners tonight.
So I don't have the date written down, but Supercard of Honor was like March 31st.
I believe it was March
right?
31st, yeah.
And then this one was July. So do you think we're getting like a pay-per-view every 3 or 4 months? Is that the kind of schedule that they're on, you think?
I guess. I mean, I expect November.
Okay. Yeah, because every time one of their pay-per-views is over, I'm, like, ready for the next one. Because WWE has got me used to, like, really frequent pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
And Well, AEW is not on the same schedule yet anyway.
Ring of Honor's on pace to do like 4 a year. Or wait, no, if they're doing them every 4 months, it's 3 a year.
Well, it hasn't quite been 4 months because it was
It's about 4 months.
It's about 4 months.
It's about 4 months.
I'm trying to look on the bright side, be positive.
So that's 3 a year. So we're on pace to get one in November, and that'd be the final one of the year. But I don't believe that they've announced a pay-per-view schedule. So we'll see what the next one is. I personally would love it if they would do a Halloween-themed pay-per-view. Or if AEW would do a Halloween-themed pay-per-view.
Or if WWE would do a Halloween.
NXT does Halloween Havoc.
You told me that doesn't count.
I'll go back and watch some of the more recent ones and see if they're any good.
You said there wasn't enough Halloween-y stuff.
I watched one several years ago. NXT did Halloween Havoc because I heard they were doing Halloween Havoc and I got excited. I was like, I'm watching NXT. That might have been the first. No, that was the second time I ever watched NXT. And I got all excited, and there was not enough Halloween-y stuff at all, and it sucked.
Well, maybe they've fixed it since then.
It's like every other time I watch NXT, it sucks. Like one time it'll be good, one time it sucks, one time. The first time I ever watched it, I think I saw Andrade versus Malachi Black, and I was like, holy shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. And then the second time I watched it was a very un-Halloween-y Halloween Havoc.
Well, we just watched it this week. Was this week a sucks time or a pretty good time?
It was decent.
It was a mixed bag.
It was a pretty good time with Dominic Mysterio winning the North American title.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the show, I could take or leave.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed. I was halfway paying attention to the show. I wasn't really paying too much attention to the show, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were doing a watch-along, which sometimes we get distracted from the watching part.
Yeah, I was mostly talking to the other people on the watch-along. I wasn't paying too much attention to the rest of the show, but I did pay attention when Dominic beat Wes Lee for his first championship in WWE or NXT, became the North American champion, so...
Yeah, if you want to check out our reactions to that, check out Willie Does Wrestling on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. And also, I've tweeted. If you look back in our tweets, I tweeted our reaction.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was Willie Does Wrestling. We did a watch along on Tuesday night NXT, and I know he posted our reaction on Tuesday or Wednesday on his channel.
Yeah, if you want to see the full watch along, I think it's on Last Week in Wrestling.
Was it his?
Yeah, Last Week in Wrestling podcast. Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't Willie?
No, Tuesday we did Last Week in Wrestling podcast.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Last Week in Wrestling then.
Yeah, but Willie posted the reactions video, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Ring of Honor, fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, so when can they hear from us next? It is currently Saturday.
Yeah, well, bunch of wrestling today, for us at least.
Yeah, today we're going to catch up on SmackDown and Rampage, and then we're going to watch Collision. So I guess the next time they can hear from us is tomorrow for our Collision recap and review.
Mm-hmm. You'll hear from us tomorrow for that. And then...
also tomorrow evening on Willie Does Wrestling? No? Okay.
I'm not sure about that. Oh. But yeah, you'll hear from us tomorrow for the Collision review. And as always, you'll hear from us on Thursday for the Dynamite review. We do the Dynamite review on Thursdays, the Collision review on Sundays, and then other things like we're doing right now, the pay-per-view recaps and things like that thrown in for WWE, Ring of Honor, AEW, and we do a local federation called AML. Usually about once a month, we'll do an AML show. Independent company. So keep an ear out for those as well. We have some YouTube content we just posted. I finished collecting the AEW trading cards from 2022, and I posted a video about that, so if you want to check that out, it's all on there.
Also, the most recent unboxing of the All Elite crate from AEW. They sent out a July crate. And so there's an unboxing video so you can see all the goodies that come in those crates and decide if you might want to sign up for one yourself.
Yep. And also on our YouTube channel, which is just No Bones About Wrestling, I did a review of AEW Fight Forever, the new AEW video game. So you can see if it's any good, worth buying or not, which you may already have an opinion on, but go see what I think, if you care.
You can share your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah. What else? What else is on the YouTube? That's the newest stuff. So, wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure to subscribe to us so you don't miss an episode. And wherever you listen to podcasts, please make sure to rate us. Give us 5 bones. Give us 5 stars. Whatever they will let you give it, please. That's how we find new listeners and rope them in. And then we can all talk wrestling together and have a great time. And we would appreciate that. So thank you for joining us for our Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor review. Kay keeps her prediction championship belt by the skin of her teeth.
Haha.
And thank you. And as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day. Bye.